Okay, welcome back. This is part 6 of our demo for Hex Command Gunpowder. It is an interesting, What is interesting is what happened to that. Looks like we have a road segment that has gone rogue. Interesting. Okay. Well, there should have been another piece up here, but that's okay. We'll ignore that. So we are looking at the end of the last turn where the units have moved and we're getting ready for the new initiative. What's interesting to note about this is that the commander may, on both sides, may wish to change their activation sequence numbers. These are the little dice you might see on the game table right now indicating which group goes next in the sequence that commander wishes to have. And how many of these groups are there? Well, there's as many as are required, especially in a situation where you've randomly put units all over the game table in groups, if you will. In this case, it looks like there's 3 groups for each side of the Americans and the British for American Revolution, which is what we're doing here. Now, I have to say also, I've noticed that the field in the middle is a reflecting light. That's because that is a printed graphic of a wheat field, and unfortunately, it is throwing off way too much brightness. I'm going to just turn that over. Well, it actually isn't even needed. So I just took it away. You'll never see it again. I just threw it away. It was an interesting idea. I just wanted to print a graphic of a wheat field, and it didn't turn out. Now the other one looks good. This guy right here, this plowed field right here, that's actually pretty good. That came out pretty good. And we can do more of those. The rest of these are corrugated fabric glued down to cardstock, which is why they look brown, and you can't see that they're corrugated because they're not heavy corrugated. So this one here basically is a distance between the corrugated lines, whereas the fabrics like this one are so tight that you can't even notice that they're corrugated. It was just another idea, which reminds me I need to get some darker brown corrugated fabric. So I will let my Echo do that, and I will go out and find some dark brown corrugated fabric, because the lighter brown, so close to the same color as the roads, doesn't quite work. And you might be interested to know that we changed the color of the roads. We changed to a different Foamies craft foam, because the lighter tan colored, which we have now dispensed with entirely, just wasn't a high enough contrast for these broadcast games. So we went to the darker brown. And darker brown is actually better because of the fact that this hexagon grid on fabric is actually very light printed. Generally speaking, if it was a darker hex grid fabric or a hex grid print, you might want to have a lighter road color, but in this case, we just got to the brown as a middle or compromise, middle ground compromise for something that isn't the same color as the hills. So the hills are a lighter brown. Actually, you can paint them any color you want, but we've chosen to paint them a color that is complementary to the contrasts of the colors we're seeing here. And you should also note that if were it not for the fabric underneath each of the trees stands, you probably wouldn't be able to see these tree hexes very well. That is because without that fabric there, you would just see the trees themselves on their glued stands. They don't occupy very much visual room in the hexagon. So having that green hexagon underneath the forest stand, the tree stand, provides for a more a fuller look to the forest. And also you'll notice that the stands themselves the trees are glued to are tan cardstock, which we have in abundance. So they should be painted green or something complementary, but certainly being a tan color like that does kind of detract from the fullness look of the forest, especially this hex right here. This guy here has got a lot of stand showing, and it looks more tan than it does green. So we'll tidy. That's more of the maintenance stuff about this hobby that we'll be doing. All right, so we're going to be getting ready for the next turn, and we're going to roll for initiative, and then see who goes first. And if the commanders wish to change their sequence, they will do it then. I can tell you that more than likely, this guy right here, well, if he's already number one, which I think he is number one, he has to get out of there. If the Americans win the initiative, this guy has got to go quickly, because he's going to be pummeled by this superior force here. As a matter of fact, because of the fact that, so where is the retreat direction? Actually, we don't know. In this kind of situation, it wouldn't be fair to say, yeah, retreat this way, right? Retreat off the board this way. That would be unfair. I would say that the commander has a choice, maybe, because in a random situation, where's your retreat? I don't know. Is it where you came in? Well, I suppose you could say yes, so then it would be here. Well, that is now gone. So the ruling is when a unit loses its path of retreat, the best thing to do is, I think, it retreats to the commander, wherever the commander is. And hopefully, within visual sight, they will be able to see the commander. Maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, if they can't see the commander and have a viable retreat to him, then I would say that they would retreat off the game table. But that's, again, maybe we'll have to die roll that and to see which is more, maybe it's equally obvious or equally possible. And we'll do it that way. The same is with true with the British. If they were to be routed off the table, where would they go? Where would this unit way up here go? Where would this guy go? Right? Back where he came, so way up there. All right. Well, okay then. And the other British unit at the top of the screen, where would they go? Well, they entered in that road up there, so if it's open, that's what they would do. If they can't see the commander to retreat to him, then again, we're back to the die roll situation. Do they just retreat off the table? Or retreat in a random direction? I don't know. We'll have to just figure that out. All right, so we will begin the next segment with die rolling for initiative.